Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are tackling it. The feature that's been like the #1 request forever in World of Warcraft. Player housing, it's finally here, or well, almost here.
It really is the big one, isn't it? The
Yeah.
white whale, like you said. And the expectations are just sky high. But honestly, from everything we're seeing, this looks, well, it looks seriously ambitious.
Ambitious is a good word. This isn't just, sticking a few chairs in a pre-made room.
Not at all. It seems like a full-blown creation system.
Sure.
Something built to last, built to be expanded on for years, not just a one-and-done feature drop.
Exactly. So our mission today is pretty clear. We need to break down the actual mechanics. We're talking the creation tools, which sound revolutionary, the whole neighborhood social stuff, and crucially for you listening.
Ah, yes, the prep work.
Right. We're going to detail this huge list, 114 specific achievements that you can actually start working on right now to get decorations ready before housing even properly launches.
Yeah, that preparation is key. Because we know player housing early access is coming really soon. It's tied to patch 11.2.7.
So dates. When can people actually get in?
Okay, so for North American players, that should be December 2nd. European players, you're looking at December 3rd. Now, the really deep, persistent stuff will probably tie more into the midnight pre-patch cycle later on, but
But the race for the cool decorations starts basically immediately.
exactly. You'll want those achievements banked when that H keybind suddenly does something new.
Okay, let's walk through this. Thinking back to, say, the garrison,
Hmm.
the entry point felt a bit clunky, maybe, and it ended up feeling pretty isolated. How does this new system actually pull you in?
It seems much smoother this time. It starts with a couple of things. First, there's a new housing dashboard. It's meant to be easy to get to keybound touch.
Okay, simple enough.
And then as soon as you log in, after that patch hits, boom, you get this introductory quest line. It's called House for You. Pretty straightforward.
Does it just like give you a pamphlet?
No, it actually teleports you straight into the main housing
Yeah.
summit. This place called Founders Point. That's your gateway.
Founder's Point. The name sounds kind of grand. What's the feel of this place? Is it just another instanced hub?
It sounds like way more than that.
Yeah.
The descriptions we've seen make it sound almost like a different game visually, like really stunning textures, a major environmental upgrade.
Oh, okay.
And it's apparently massive.
Yeah.
Founders Point is described as this single, huge, continuous island. And here's the kicker. It's fully flyable.
Flyable, the whole thing.
The whole thing. They even mention a flight master right near the entry portal, which kind of tells you, they expect you to need to cover some serious ground. This isn't just a little backyard plot.
Okay, so I land in this giant flyable zone. I'm impressed. How do I actually, put down roots, become a homeowner?
The intro quest basically holds your hand through that bit. It points you towards exploring the available plots of land. They're marked clearly around the island.
Do I need to save up a ton of gold?
Nope. That's the interesting part. Initially, acquiring your first plot is completely free. 0 gold cost.
Really? No barrier.
Seems like it. You just find a spot you like, talk to the neighborhood steward there, and boom, the land is yours. They really want everyone in the system from the get-go, it seems.
All right, free land. I'm in. Now, you mentioned neighborhoods. This sounds like the big difference from something solitary like the garrison. It's about community, right?
Absolutely. That communal aspect seems central. And they've structured it with 3 distinct types of neighborhoods. This really lets you choose who you're living next to.
All right, break them down for us. What's the first type?
First up, you have the public neighborhoods. This is your default starting point, probably where that intro quest drops you. It's easy, open access, anyone can grab a plot there. Think of it as like the general town square.
Gotcha. The entry-level option. What's next? Something more exclusive.
Exactly. The second type is guild neighborhoods. These sound like they'll be highly desirable for organized groups.
So only my guildmates can live there.
Precisely. Access to buy a plot is restricted to members of that specific guild. It creates this persistent, shared space just for your guild. Imagine a whole neighborhood decked out in your guild's colors and themes.
That sounds cool. Okay, what's the third type? This one sounds like it solves a long-standing WoW problem.
Oh yeah, this is the one people are really buzzing about. Charter neighborhoods, or custom neighborhoods.
How do these work?
Okay, so to start one, a player buys a special charter item. Then, they need to get 8 unique signatures from other players who agree to live in that specific neighborhood.
8 friends have to commit.
Yeah. And here's the brilliant part. Those friends can be from different guilds. They can even be from the opposing faction.
Wait, Horde and Alliance players living side by side in the same neighborhood?
That's what it sounds like. The charter system breaks down those old barriers. Once it's founded, the neighborhood manager, the person who started it, can invite others. So you can create these really tight-knit communities of friends, regardless of their guild tags or faction allegiance.
That's actually huge, especially for people with friends scattered across servers or factions. Okay, so I've got my plot, maybe in a cool charter neighborhood. I spend weeks decorating. Who gets to see my masterpiece? Can I lock my door?
You definitely have control. When you claim your plot and build your house, you get access permissions settings.
Like what?
You can set it to anyone, meaning any player just wandering through your neighborhood can stroll onto your plot, walk right into your house, check things out. Or you could set it to private, restrict access completely, or maybe just allow specific invited players. You get to decide the level of privacy.
Good. Now, back to Founder's Point being massive. If this is super popular, aren't we going to end up with Lag City? Imagine hundreds of players loading in these huge decorated houses all at once.
That's a fair concern, but they seem to have a technical solution. The neighborhoods themselves are instanced.
How does that work? Like a dungeon instance?
Sort of. The information suggests that one neighborhood instance, like one copy of that neighborhood layout, can hold up to 50 player plots.
Okay, 50 houses per instance. What happens when the 51st person wants to move in?
The system automatically spins up a new instance, a new subdivision of that same neighborhood layout. So you might be in Founders Point neighborhood, #1, while someone else joins Founders Point neighborhood, #2, #3, and so on.
Ah, sharding, basically, but for housing neighborhoods.
Exactly. It's a smart way to manage performance.
Hmm.
It stops you from having, 50 hyper-detailed max item count houses all trying to render on the same shard simultaneously. That would just melt the servers. This keeps it stable and also means your neighborhood doesn't feel ridiculously overcrowded.
Okay, that instancing makes sense. Technical stability is good. So, I have my free plot. I'm ready to build my dream mansion. What stops me from doing that on day one? Is there a catch?
There is, and it's tied to progression. You don't just get everything unlocked immediately. The whole system is built around leveling up your property.
Leveling up. How?
Yes.
Like character levels?
It's described as being similar to a renown track, but specifically for housing. You earn housing XP, and that increases your housing level. And that level dictates what you can actually build and how much stuff you can place.
So it's a gate. Why do that? Just to slow people down.
It seems like it serves a few purposes. One, it encourages long-term engagement, gives you goals to work towards within the housing system itself.
Makes sense. Keep people logging in.
Right. But two, it's also likely another performance management tool. As you level up, your capacity for decoration and the potential size of your house increases. But these increases are probably paced carefully.
So you don't suddenly go from a tiny hut to a 5,000 item monstrosity overnight and crash the instance.
Pretty much. It lets the system scale more gracefully.
Okay, let's talk numbers. You mentioned capacity limits changing with levels. What does that look like early on, say, going from level 0 to level 1?
Right, level 0 is apparently super basic. You can barely place anything. Hitting level 1 is your first real step up, and it unlocks 4 key things based on the info we have.
Lay 'em on me.
Okay. Level 1 allows 1, 300 items inside your house structure. 2, 200 items outside on your plot of land.
Okay, 300 inside, 200 outside. What else?
3, the ability to construct up to 9 distinct rooms within your house.
9 rooms. That's pretty decent to start. And number 4.
Number 4 is a fixture budget of 1,000.
Hold on, fixture budget. How's that different from the 300 indoor items or 200 outdoor items? What counts as a fixture?
That's a really important distinction. The way it's described, decorative items are your standard things. Chairs, tables, paintings, plants, static models that mostly just take up space.
Gotcha. Standard clutter.
Right. A fixture, though, seems to be something more complex for the game engine to handle. Think things like interactive lights, functional doors you can open and close, windows that might have transparency effects, maybe fountains with water physics, or anything that needs special rendering or interaction calculations.
Ah, so things that are more computationally expensive.
Exactly. These items put more strain on the system, so they get their own separate budget. You could fill your 300 indoor slots with basic crates and barrels, no problem. But if you try to cram in, say, 50 complex animated chandeliers, you might hit that 4,000 fixture budget much faster, even if you haven't hit the 300 item count. It's another layer of performance control.
Performance really seems to be a major consideration in this whole design. So progression is key. How do we actually earn this housing XP? Just placing stuff.
Placing items is definitely part of it. Every time you put down a new decoration, you get some XP. Crafting housing-specific decor items also grants XP.
Okay, building and crafting. Anything else?
We can probably guess some others. Completing those housing-related achievements we'll talk about later seems likely. Maybe helping decorate a friend's house, or potentially daily or weekly quests tied to housing activities. The idea seems to be that anything you do related to your house feeds back into its progression.
Makes it feel like a living system. Okay, moving from the inside limits to the outside look. Am I stuck with, like, a generic wooden shack forever? Can I change the actual building?
Oh, definitely not. The exterior structure is highly customizable too. You start small, naturally, but as you progress through those housing levels, you unlock the ability to upgrade your house size. Small, then medium, then eventually these large mega houses.
Mega houses. And can I choose the style? Am I stuck with human or orc architecture?
The foundation style is based on different WoW cultures. You might start by choosing a basic human or orc theme, but, and this is exciting, the interface apparently already shows other options grayed out.
Like what? Tease us.
Things like Tauren lodges, Forsaken crypt-style buildings, dwarf stone keeps,
Yeah.
maybe even night elf tree houses. The potential for future cultural themes seems enormous. They're clearly planning for a lot more variety down the line.
Okay, that's cool. So I pick my base style, say dwarven. Can I still make my dwarven house look different from my neighbor's dwarven house?
Yes, absolutely. That's where the bolt-on attachments come in.
Bolt-ons. Like car parts.
Huh, sort of. The basic house models have specific points on them where you can attach or swap out different architectural elements.
Give me examples.
You could change the style of the roof, add a wizard's tower onto the side, stick on different kinds of chimneys, choose where your doors and windows go, and what style they are.
Ah, so it's modular.
Exactly. It means two people could pick the same base theme,
Yeah.
like human, but one might build tall with a central spire and lots of vertical windows, while the other builds wide, adds a conservatory attachment, and uses different roofing. You get personalized silhouettes while still keeping a kind of architectural coherence within the neighborhood.
Okay, this modularity sounds great, but now we get to the real heart of it, the reason everyone's so hyped, the actual decorating tools. We've heard whispers that this system might actually be better than housing in other big MMOs. Why? What's the secret sauce?
It really comes down to one major thing: the level of control you get. Most MMO housing systems historically are pretty rigid. They use grids, or they limit how you can move stuff.
Yeah, snap to grid can be frustrating.
Right. WoW's system seems to break free from that, primarily through something called advanced mode.
Advanced mode. Okay, what makes it so advanced? What can it do?
This is the absolute game changer. Advanced mode gives you total freedom to move, rotate, and scale any decoration item in full 3 dimensions.
3 dimensions, you mean like anywhere, not just sliding it on the floor?
Exactly. Full X, Y, and Z axis control. You can nudge something a tiny bit forward or backward. You can lift it off the ground. You can rotate it on any axis, not just spinning it flat. And you can scale things up or down, make a tiny pebble into a huge boulder, or shrink a massive statue down to fit on a shelf.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's granular.
Incredibly granular.
Yeah.
It shifts housing from just placing items to designing spaces.
And that level of control must enable, well, shenanigans, like clipping items together. Usually games prevent that because it looks glitchy.
Here it seems like they're not just allowing clipping, they're almost encouraging it. It's seen as necessary for true creativity.
How so? What does clipping let you do?
It lets you combine items in ways the developers never explicitly intended. The classic example given is taking big leafy bush decorations
Yeah.
and pushing them into the wall of your house until only the leaves are showing. Boom! Instant ivy crawling at the stonework. You're not using an ivy decal, you're building it out of 3D models.
That's clever, using existing assets in new ways.
Exactly. Or imagine wanting a grand arched window, but there isn't one. You could take some curved stone pieces, maybe some pillar models, scale them, rotate them, clip them together just right until they form the archway you want around a basic window frame.
So you're basically kit bashing your own decorations.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The sources even mention someone building a detailed bird's nest way up on their roof peak. Not using a pre-made nest item, but taking tiny bits of wood models, little leaf decorations, some mossy textures, scaling them all down, and carefully clipping them together to make this custom little perch. Perfect for a druid player to land on in flight form.
That's incredible. The potential for custom builds sounds insane. Okay, let's step inside the house. We know the outside can grow, but interiors often feel bigger on the inside, right? The TARDIS effect. How do we actually build the rooms and change how they look?
Right. The interior customization has 2 main parts: looks and layout. For the looks, the aesthetics, there's a customization tab. That's where you apply different styles you've collected. Think of styles as texture packs for your walls, floors, and ceilings. They mention things like Silver Moon Dark, which sounds like that elegant Blood Elf marble, etched marble for maybe a more Stormwind vibe, or rustic rocked wood for a cabin feel. You unlock these styles, and then you can apply them room by room.
So one room can be marble, the next can be wood.
Seems like it. Mix and match.
Okay, that's the paint job. What about the actual walls, the floor plan?
That's handled by the floor plan system. It's described as modular room building. You use an interface to add new rooms, connect them, remove them, even rotate them.
So I'm not stuck with just square rooms.
Nope. You can apparently attach L-shaped rooms, make hallways, create more complex non-rectangular layouts, and crucially, this includes verticality.
Ah.
You could add stairwells, build actual multiple floors inside your house. Go upstairs, downstairs.
Yeah.
Again, though, you're limited by your maximum room count, which is tied to your housing level. Starts at 9 rooms at level 1.
Then goes up to potentially 24 rooms later on.
That's the number mentioned, yeah. 24 rooms. That's practically a palace.
Seriously. With that much space and the advanced mode tools, players are going to build their own furniture, aren't they? Just sticking basic shapes together.
Oh, absolutely. That's the ultimate promise of a sandbox system like this. We're already seeing reports from early testing, people getting super creative.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Okay, one person described building a whole kitchen countertop. Not using a countertop item, but taking specific flat rectangular platform pieces that Blizzard provides as basic building blocks, scaling them just right, aligning them perfectly, maybe adding a different texture. Instant custom counter.
Clever. Using basic geometry.
Totally. Another example was the spice rack. Someone took a basic wooden shelf model. Then they added tiny wicker basket models, little crate models. And then, this is the genius part, they took grass and moss decorations, scaled them way down, maybe tinted them slightly, and clipped them into the baskets and crates to look like little jars of dried herbs and spices.
Wow. That takes dedication.
It does. And apparently someone improvised a bathroom sink just by using a small decorative table model and cleverly combining it with some kind of water effect item near it.
So the name of the item doesn't matter anymore. A barrel can be a chair, a plank can be a shelf.
Exactly. It's all about the shape and how you can manipulate it. It completely changes how you think about decorating. It's not what item fits here, it's what can I build here.
Okay, one last piece for total control. Color. We can't just have everything in default wood and stone. Is there a dye system?
Yes, there is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to note, it's a separate system from armor dyeing.
So my armor dyes won't work on my couch.
Correct. Housing decorations use their own specific set of housing dyes. And you craft these dyes at a special dye station, which is located somewhere in that Founders Point hub area.
Crafting. Okay.
Yeah.
Does this tie into existing professions?
It does. This seems like a deliberate move to boost some older professions. The materials and recipes for these housing dyes are primarily linked to scribing and alchemy.
Ah, giving scribes and alchemists something new and valuable to create.
Exactly. It makes those professions really relevant to the housing economy. If you want to dye your furniture vibrant colors, you'll likely need to either be a scribe alchemist yourself or buy the dyes from someone who is. It cleverly loops the housing system back into the main game's economy and professions. Okay, so we've got these amazing tools, this incredible potential for creativity. But you need the actual stuff to build with, right? The decorations themselves.
Right. Where does all the cool furniture and building blocks come from? This leads us to maybe the most actionable part of this whole deep dive for listeners right now. How do you get ahead of the curve?
This is where it gets really exciting, especially for longtime players. Get ready for this number. The sources confirm 114 retroactive achievements are being added or updated.
114. And completing these, what does it give you?
Completing each one instantly grants you a unique piece of housing decor. Think about that. All those things you've already done in WoW over the years. Quests, raids, reps, weird little side activities.
Are about to potentially reward you with furniture.
Exactly. Years of your character's history are about to be, like, physically manifested as items you can place in your house. It's retroactive rewards on a massive scale.
Okay, that's huge. But let's clarify the mechanic. If an achievement gives me, say, a cool statue, do I only get one? What if I want 2 statues flanking my doorway?
Great question. The achievement itself grants you the first copy of that item. It unlocks it for you.
Okay, unlocks it, then what?
Once it's unlocked via the achievement, you can then buy additional copies of that same item from special vendors. These vendors will likely be in Founders Point, or maybe major cities, so you earn the Anixia Hit achievement once.
And then you go to a vendor and buy 3 more if you want a whole collection.
Precisely. You prove you earned it once, then you can replicate it for a cost, probably gold or maybe some housing-specific currency. It allows for multiples without diminishing the achievement itself.
Smart. Okay, 114 achievements. That's a lot. Let's give people some concrete examples. Show the range. How far back does this go? Old school stuff.
Oh yeah, they dug deep. We're talking classic zones. Remember Stranglethorn Vale? All those Nezingwari hunting quests.
Who could forget hours of collecting tusks and pelts?
Well, if you completed all the Hemet Nezingwari quest lines there,
Yeah.
the big game hunter finale, you unlock the Nezingwari Elk Trophy, a big mounted head for your wall.
Nice. A classic trophy. What else from the old world?
How about Fiona's caravan in the Plaguelands? Remember recruiting Gidwin and Tyrannar and those folks?
Vaguely. It was a long quest chain.
If you stuck with it and recruited all 8 members of her party, you get the gold share food cart. A little piece of that journey. And for the real old-school raiders.
Onyxia. Please say Onyxia.
Onyxia. Defeating her in the 25-player version, specifically in under 5 minutes, the speed kill achievement rewards the actual head of the broodmother.
The giant dragon skull. You can put that in your house.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Imagine that hanging over your fireplace. It's not just decoration. It's a statement. I was there. I killed Onyxia fast.
Okay, my mind is racing already.
Yeah.
Let's move forward in time. What about Mists of Pandaria? That expansion had a lot of unique side activities.
It did, and they tapped into those too. Remember the serpent spine? That crazy rolling down the wall daily quest?
Oh god, yes. Frustrating.
If you manage to do a speed run, complete it in 70 seconds or less, you unlock the Klaxi lacquered rickshaw. Very Pandaren aesthetic.
Okay, a reward for true mastery. Or luck.
Wow.
What about scenarios?
Completing the Blood in the Snow scenario, which was one of the tougher ones, gets you the Shadowforged stone chair, a heavy, kind of imposing chair, maybe good for a dwarven-themed room.
You really are pulling from everywhere. Okay, bring it more current. What about Dragonflight? And even looking ahead to the War Within.
For Dragonflight, there are things tied to zone activities. If you open 10 of those Forbidden Horde chests out in the Forbidden Reach, you get the Dragon's Horde chest. Makes sense.
A treasure chest for finding treasure chests.
Pretty much. And completed the whole reclamation of Gilnea's storyline that happened recently. That rewards the Gilnean celebratory keg, a memento from that event.
And hints for the future. The War Within.
Yeah, they've already data mined some potential rewards tied to upcoming content. Things like a Boulder Springs recliner sounds comfy, and a rocket-powered fountain, which sounds chaotic and amazing.
Rocket fountain. Okay, so the list is going to keep growing with new content, too.
Definitely. It seems like tying achievements to housing decor is going to be an ongoing thing.
Now, you mentioned earlier that one expansion seems absolutely packed with rewards, almost revitalized by this system. Legion, right?
Legion is the absolute jackpot, especially for class-specific items. This is where your character's class identity really gets translated into physical objects for your house.
How so? What kind of things?
Just completing your Class Order Hall campaign, that big storyline unique to each class in Legion is loaded with rewards.
Give me specifics.
Okay, Warlocks who finish theirs get the Dreadscar Brisure, probably looks all fell-infused and spiky. Shamans get a Maelstrom lava lamp, which sounds trippy and cool. Death Knights unlock the Ebon Blade weapon rack, stuff that screams, I am this class.
So just doing the main story for your class hall gives you decor.
Yeah, and it goes deeper. Remember artifact weapons and those hidden appearances that were sometimes super hard to get?
Oh yeah, the forums were obsessed with finding those.
Well, unlocking those artifact hidden appearances now rewards you with replica altars and forges related to your class artifact. Think big centerpiece items, like maybe you get the replica soul forge if you unlocked a specific warlock appearance, or the elemental altar of the Maelstrom for shamans. These are major statement pieces for your house.
Wow. So all that effort hunting hidden skins pays off again.
Totally. And even simpler stuff. Remember the mission table in your class hall, sending followers out on missions.
Yeah, the app game, basically.
If you completed 100 of those class hall missions, you get rewarded with a class-specific planning map or war table for your house, like the Skyhold war table for warriors. It gives visual recognition to even that passive part of the expansion.
The big takeaway here seems to be, if you have alts that played through Legion but maybe didn't finish everything, now is the time to log back in and wrap up those Order Hall campaigns and artifact hunts.
Absolutely. Dust off those alts.
Yeah.
Their history is about to become decorating potential.
Okay, beyond class stuff, what about faction pride? And those big expansion-spanning meta achievements. Can I get everything on just one character?
That's a key point. No, you probably can't get everything on a single character. There are faction-locked items.
Ah, knew there'd be a catch for completionists. Like, what?
The prime example is the Battle for Azeroth War campaign. Finishing it rewards different things based on your faction. Alliance players get the Proudmoore green drape. Horde players get the Lordaeron rectangular rug.
So if I want both the drape and the rug.
You need to have completed the war campaign on both an Alliance and a Horde character. So yes, playing both factions will be necessary for the absolute 100% collection.
Makes sense. What about those big meta achievements? The ones for doing almost everything in an expansion.
Those grant some seriously impressive large-scale rewards. Completing the overall Shadowlands meta achievement, for instance, gives you a portal to damnation. Imagine having that as your doorway.
Very edgy.
What else? The Dragonflight meta gives you a miniature version of the Great Vault to display. And the Battle for Azeroth meta achievement rewards the Mother's Titanic Brazier, which sounds enormous and probably related to Mother in the Chamber of Heart. These are like the ultimate trophies for conquering and expansion.
Okay, quickly circling back to professions. We mentioned scribing and alchemy for dyes. Do other crafters get unique items for hitting max skill?
Yes, they do. It seems hitting max skill points in specific expansion professions is treated as an achievement. For example, hitting max Zandalari profession skill might reward the Dazzler Forge.
So a blacksmith gets a themed forge.
Exactly. Maxing out other profession tiers like Kalimdor or Kultiran or whatever will likely grant specific workbenches, tools, or storage items themed around that profession and its location. Another way to show off your character's skills.
Love it. Okay, last category, PvP. What about the players who live in battlegrounds? Do they get anything besides honor?
They get banners and flags, lots of them, tied to specific battleground achievements.
Like what? Alterac Valley.
Definitely. If you've captured 50 graveyards in AV back in the day, you get the Fortified Alliance banner. If you defended 50 towers, you get the Fortified Horde banner. Faction-specific bragging rights.
What about dueling?
Winning duels seems to grant the challenger's dueling flag. A little flag to plant outside your house, maybe.
Uh-huh. And specific battlegrounds. Warsong Gulch, Arathi Basin.
Yes. Winning 100 Warsong Gulch matches gets you the Warsong Outriders flag, or the Alliance equivalent, Silverwing Sentinels. Same logic probably applies to achieving victory milestones in Eye of the Storm, Arathi Basin, etc. They really seem to have tried to cover all the major pillars of WoW gameplay. Every type of dedicated player gets something to show for it. #tag outro.
All right, let's try and wrap this up. Listening to all this, player housing in WoW feels like it's finally hitting the mark after, 20 years of players asking? It seems built on two really strong ideas.
Yeah, I think so too. What are the two pillars for you?
First, just the sheer creative freedom. That advanced mode, the 3D control, the scaling, the rotation, and especially embracing clipping. It really feels like a, if you can dream it, you can probably build it kind of system.
Totally agree. That level of control is beyond what many expected.
And second, the social aspect. The guild, and especially the charter neighborhoods, plus the instancing to handle scale, it feels like they've thought hard about making this a communal feature, not just another isolated garrison, a place you actually want to hang out with friends in.
And the masterstroke, I think, is how it ties back into the existing game. It's not just a feature bolted onto the side.
You mean the achievements?
Exactly. That whole system of 114 retroactive rewards.
Yeah.
It's genius. It instantly makes all WoW's history relevant again. Suddenly, there's a reason to go back and finish that obscure questline in Pandaria or complete that Legion Order haul on an alt. Your character's entire journey, every expansion you played through, every challenge you overcame.
It all gets converted into tangible rewards you can see and touch in your virtual home.
Precisely. Old professions get a boost. Old reps might matter again. Old achievements suddenly have visible value. It literally turns your character's history into a physical collection you can curate and display.
It's not just building a house, it's building a museum of your own adventures in Azeroth. A trophy room covering potentially 2 decades of gameplay.
Which brings us to a final thought, something for you, the listener, to ponder as you start dreaming about your plot in Founder's Point. We've talked about the big, flashy achievement rewards, the Onyxia heads, the class items, the faction banners, but think smaller, think personal.
What specific, maybe forgotten little item from your character's unique history? Maybe an old quest item you kept for sentimental reasons, a trinket from a reputation nobody grinds anymore, some weird gray item you just like the look of. What personal memento would you most want Blizzard to turn into a housing decoration so you could put it on your shelf and tell your specific story? Something beyond the big list we just discussed.